Hello and welcome to the first of what I hope will be quite a few question and answer videos. This is where I answer your questions about my channel and my travels. So let's get started. They're in no particular order. And the first one is from Wandering with Watto. And Watto asks, is there one person you admire that you would like to spend a day wandering with? Well, of course, I wandered with Watto back in 2022. We met up in Shrewsbury with some other creators, and that video is on the channel, so please take a look at that. You can watch me wandering with Watto. But to answer your question, I think it's Michael Palin. I've admired his comedic talent for over 40 years. I'm a huge Monty Python fan, and I do enjoy his travel shows as well. The Sahara, the Himalayas, pole to pole, and of course around the world in 80 days. And these travel shows are my inspiration for my own travels. And in the years to come, I've got similar adventures planned. So maybe one day I'll follow in the footsteps, I say, of Michael Palin. Psychomach asked safest places to travel, and if so, the best places to travel. Well, most countries are relatively safe to travel to, unless politics or local factors say otherwise. Travelling to Israel at the moment or Ukraine isn't a good idea due to the wars and conflicts, but incidents can happen anywhere, in any country, any city, even here in London where I am at the moment. And stories of attacks and other atrocities and things can happen in any city at any time. But it's down to us as travellers to ensure that we are safe when we travel. And I set my rules when I travel, and I'm sure most people who travel do as well. Most places are safe, but tourists do have to be careful when out and about, especially from scammers and pickpockets. And there are various pickpocket hotspots. Las Ramblas in Barcelona, the Eiffel Tower in Paris, Trevi Fountain in Rome, Charles Bridge in Prague, plus others. I'll put a little list on the screen of the top 10. And I have a series of videos all about travelling on my channel on various subjects, including staying safe. So have a watch of those if you want to know how I stay safe when I'm travelling. As for the best places, well, that depends on what you like to do or see when travelling. For myself, it's the variety of the historic locations, plus fun things like cable cars and aquariums. And the best places for me, well, I'm currently enjoying travelling around Europe. But I'm going to be venturing out of Europe very shortly. Andrew Holloway asks, how do you go about planning these wonderful trips, and would you be able to do hotel experience reviews too? Well, I'm currently in a hotel. I'm at the Hilton in London, a very nice hotel, very expensive hotel, and it's really rather nice. There's plenty of space in here for me, seating area. It's not the usual type of hotel room that I book, but it's a lovely room, and occasionally I do treat myself. As for your question, Andrew, well, planning takes time, as I do need to find a location that has a variety of different things to see and do, like aquariums, castles, cable cars, funicular railways, and of course some fascinating history as well. I find something that's different that I haven't shown before, but of course costs do play a part. And planning and costing of my trips do go together. I can't overspend when I travel. It takes time to research each location as well, taking into consideration the flights, local transport, and where to go. But my ideas of where I travel usually come from research into other videos, usually people and places. Karl Marx featured in my Edinburgh video, and recently in my Eindhoven video. Just the way the history falls there, that I feature two people in the same person in two very different locations. And of course in Eindhoven I talked about a man called Jan Schwartendijk. I think that's how you pronounce his name. A very brave Dutchman who helped Jews escape from Lithuania during the Second World War. And I'm currently researching a trip to Lithuania. As for hotel experience videos, well, I do mention them in my videos, and this one, but they are better on a separate channel, and there are lots of people doing them. Same with flight review videos, restaurant review videos, etc. How do I compete with them? How do I make it different, more interesting, more exciting, featuring the same room or the same flight, the same restaurant that other people have been to? It's very, very difficult, and I have no plans to start a third channel at the moment, but I do have an idea for a third channel, but not one all about hotel reviews or flight reviews. But you never know in the future, so keep watching, Andrew. And as I say, hotels do feature in quite a few of my my videos. Mark V asked, would you do flight experience reviews, like comparing an A380 to a Boeing 737? Did you mean 747? 747 is my favourite aircraft, and yes, I've flown many times on a 747-100 all the way up to a 400, and I just love that aircraft. But I am developing my transport channel. I will be doing some flight reviews on that channel, as along with other types of transport reviews and challenges. But yes, others are sort of planned for that channel. But again, can I do this differently from other YouTubers? There are plenty of good YouTubers out there who are doing flight review videos. I have done flight review segments on some of my transport videos, along with coaches and other forms of transport, but maybe it's something I will get into eventually, but not quite at the moment. I do have other videos planned for the next sort of year to 18 months. The how-to guy asked, how do you afford to travel so much? That's a really great question. Well, I work in the travel industry as a trainer and coach driver, and I'm quite well paid for what I do. It is long hours, there's overtime available, and numerous perks as well. But careful budgeting is the key to how I travel. I have a daily budget of £75, or around about 145 Australian dollars. And that includes all food, drink, entertainment, local transport, entrance fees and accommodation. And I try and stay within budget. And I got some videos on my channel about how I afford to travel, and also 2 videos about the costs of the trips that I made back in 2022 and 2023. So those videos will answer a lot more, give you a lot more information about how I afford to travel. And it's quite complex actually, just using all the perks and careful budgeting. FX Wales, Anna and Alf ask, apart from all your wonderful travel destinations, do you have any other hobbies? Well, history is a big hobby of mine, especially church history. I do enjoy reading wall plaques, ledger slabs and gravestones, and doing some research, and various periods of English history, including the English Civil War from 1642 to 1649, and Roman history. So that's my real big passion, is history. And I feature a lot of Roman history in my videos, and hopefully some English Civil War ones are planned, but mainly it's Roman is my real passion. Music as well. I used to work as a cocktail pianist in a hotel. I worked abroad for several years working as a pianist. I also worked as a church organist as well, playing for services and playing the voluntary at the end of a service. Some great tunes that I've played there for services. But since the pandemic of 2020, or coronavirus, I've continued with I haven't been able to play much music in church, and I've also had change in work patterns as well. So I've gone back to my other hobby, which is photography, and that's led me into YouTube. OmaFarAway asked, what are your plans for 2024? Well, great question, Anita, great question. I'm planning a trip to Slovakia, visiting Bratislava and Kosice, plus a visit to Hungary, visiting Budapest, and also Yerevan in Armenia. I'm also hoping to get to Hong Kong later this year, or somewhere else outside of Europe. But it all depends upon my work schedule. I'm currently moving house and changing jobs, so I'm not sure yet this year on how many trips I will make, but that is my plan so far. I also want to visit Hamburg again and get back to the Netherlands. And next year in 2025, I plan to visit Scandinavia and either Canada or the USA. But whereabouts, again, I'm not too sure at the moment. It's a little way off yet, but hopefully I will get to Budapest, because that's high on my list of places to go. She also asked, do you travel alone? Yes, I do, always. It suits my itinerary and budget, and I have a schedule as well, and I often have to change my plans at the last minute, so it's easier to travel alone. And I enjoy travelling alone as well. I do meet some great people when I'm travelling. Windy City asked, have you been somewhere and thought, best you hadn't gone? No, not really. I did feel a little uncomfortable in Marseille last year. It is a crime hotspot, and I did walk through a notorious area on my way to the castle. And when I was on the coach going out of Marseille towards Nîmes, there was a demonstration and there were burning tyres in the road. Perhaps I visited at the wrong time, but I tend to stay away from unsafe places. Jane Bass asked, have you ever felt unsafe on your travels, and does it ever worry you travelling on your own? Well, I've not felt unsafe as such, but when I arrived in Lisbon on my trip there, I had planned to walk through some of the city's suburbs and the back streets on my way up to the vista for the castle, and I did encounter some homeless people, and they asked for money, and I'm always concerned that I might be a target for being robbed. As I'm a tourist, I think you have to be fairly careful wherever you go in an unfamiliar situation and location when travelling, but planning well in advance and always plan for the unexpected. Yeah, that's always good advice. And I've had people come up and ask for money in other locations as well. So it does happen, but I try to avoid those sort of hot spots if I can. Postcard and a Pint ask Rachel and Wills, they ask, where is the most interesting place you have visited? Do you have a favourite vlog that you have made? And why is it your favourite? Great questions. The most interesting place is probably Nîmes so far, is probably Nîmes in Provence, south of France. Just so much Roman history there, and I love my Roman history. And there's 2 videos which I made from Nîmes, plus a third from members, where I found a Roman castellum. And that goes back to Roman Nemausus, which is what Romans called Nîmes back in 2,000 odd years ago, Nemausus. I also visited some Roman sites in Lugo as well, in northwest Spain. Absolutely fantastic. Those videos are coming very shortly to my channel. And of course, if you're watching this video in a year's time, they're already on my channel for you to watch and enjoy. Favourite vlog? Well, it's probably the one from Lisbon when I visited the aquarium and rode on a cable car. It's also the video where a bird shat on my head and I mistook a hand sanitizer machine for a ticket machine and got hand sanitizer all over my ticket. But it's also the least performing video on my channel. It's 23 minutes and 38 seconds long and has an average watch time of 1 minute and 2 seconds. I find that absolutely incredible. So virtually everybody who watched the video didn't watch the video and missed the sharks in the aquarium. I'll leave a link to that video at the end, so have a watch. It is most entertaining. It's one of my favourites. Clive Marchant has asked several questions, so let's go through these in no particular order. How many hours of research do you do before selecting a destination to travel to? Great question. My research is ongoing. As I research stories from one destination, my research usually involves a person or an event which gives me information about another location linked to that person or event. So ongoing research. And some places or some names do crop up in more than one video. What is your favourite period of history from the UK? Well, that's the Romans and the English Civil War, 1642 to 1649. Another question, I love your East Anglia videos. Will you be exploring any locations closer to home in 2024? Well, I've got scripts written for Malden, Harwich and Norwich, but it's just a question of making these videos. I am moving house, not quite sure where at the moment, so may not, but other UK videos are being planned. Ipswich videos do well, but not my other ones, so I may focus a little more this year on some neighbouring counties, but I do have plans to make those videos that I mentioned. How many actual hours of footage do you capture to create an average video? These are great questions. To be honest, it's not much more than you actually see on screen. In some cases, I do film scenes twice, as this gives me editing options. I usually have a little more B-roll or scenery shots than I actually need. And that also gives me editing options as well. And I always shoot 2 or 3 intros and endings again. Depends on how I decide to edit the video. How do you manage to find time for all the editing whilst also working? Yeah, I just do. I work about 50 hours a week in the transport industry, and I edit in 1 hour chunks during the working week, after work and on my days off. Usually edit 1 or 2 in a week depending upon their length, sometimes more. Occasionally I have very early starts in the mornings and some late nights, and I can get a lot done. But yeah, it's really hard work trying to have a full-time regular job and do YouTube and bring a video to you every single week. It really is, it's really hard work. How difficult is it to ignore other tourists and locals when you're talking to camera and when you investigate away from regular tourist areas? Have you ever felt unsafe or had to hot-foot it away quickly? Yeah, very difficult to film in public. It's the unpredictability of the general public which causes me issues. Unwanted background activity, piped music, traffic, and sometimes I just can't talk to the camera because of the noise. I did a video from Dublin a couple of years ago, and I filmed going up O'Connell Street. It was so difficult to do that. There was so much noise, and I was in the central reservation and traffic both sides. Really difficult. And I don't usually find the unwanted background activity until I start to edit. I can't check every single footage I record to camera. So sometimes I do discover things when I get to do the editing, and that can cause me some problems. In my Regensburg video from my Bavarian series, I actually shot 3 endings. The first one was in a sausage Bavarian sausage restaurant right by the river, and I'd just come to the end of the sequence, and I had somebody started waving and doing things in the background which ruined the whole ending. So I couldn't use that. There was another piece of Roman wall that I went to film, and I just coloured the end of that, and motorbikes went past and just ruined the video. Went to re-record the ending, and a tour group descended on that corner, so that was out. And what you see in the video was the 3rd effort in making an ending. It really is very difficult. As for feeling unsafe, somewhat yes, encountering the homeless when I was in Lisbon and in Bristol. There were people around, homeless people around, when I was doing my piece to camera. I had problems filming the ending to my 4 UK capitals video outside Paddington Station. That's on my transport channel. Again, a lot of unwanted activity there from members of the general public. So it does happen, unfortunately. And the final question from my mother, Maggie, asks, what is your favourite place to visit and why? Well, since I've been making videos, I've visited so many places over the last 3.5 years. I like visiting Germany for the history and the architecture. I like visiting Italy for the food and the climate and the Roman history. Spain for the Roman history, the climate. And I loved Grenoble in France and Salon de Provence. And Valencia was just in Spain, was just lovely, really beautiful there, lovely architecture and some great food I had there as well. And I think the Netherlands is currently my new favourite country. I really enjoyed making my Netherlands series, and another series is planned. So I think the Netherlands at the moment, but I have visited some fantastic places over the last 50 years, including Bahrain, Hong Kong, and California in the USA. Absolutely beautiful. I don't really have a favourite place just yet, but perhaps after a few more years of travelling I might. But saying that, I do like Nuremberg. Nuremberg ticks all the boxes for me, especially for the museums and the history and the zoo. And they have local sausages and a local beer as well, so probably Nuremberg. But that is the end of this video. If you have a question for me, please drop it in the comment section below, and I will answer it in my next question and answer video. Thank you so much to everybody who asked a question, and if you didn't answer a question, you have the opportunity to ask away for the next video. So thank you so much for watching.